Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 313 of Spittin Chiclets, presented by Pink Whitney from our friends at New Amsterdam Vodka here in the Barstool Sports podcast family. What's going on, boys? Happy holidays to everybody out there. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Let's go to the boys and say how their holidays were. Mikey Grinelli, producer. How you doing, pal? How was your holiday?
What's going on, guys? Holidays were great. I hope you guys enjoyed yours as well. Whit, I'm excited to hear about the kids' holidays. I love hearing about little kids getting presents, so look forward to hearing about that. And other than that, best of episode. You guys know these ones do the best, so excited.
Yeah, this kid got a 401k set up. He got a fucking Bentley, and maybe a car that's not a complete.
No, I would never. I think my mother-in-law tried giving him like a Mercedes, one of those toy. I'm like, he's not having a Mercedes. Like his first car is going to be a shit box. It'll be safe, but I'm not getting him a sick car. If you get your kid who doesn't work, just like an Escalade or a sick brand new car, you're an asshole. I'm fired up for this episode. I didn't mean to get negative right off the bat, but what's going on?
I usually bury that till later. What's up?
Well, he said I'd give my kid a Bentley. Are you shitting me?
I'm just teasing. I like poking the fire a little bit at the beginning of the episode because then we get electric wit.
Poking the bear.
How was your Christmas, Biz? Did you get everything from Santa you were hoping for, or what?
You know what? I say no gifts, and we ended up doing a little bit of an exchange. I got my girlfriend these these knives. I forget the name of them, and she might be hearing me tell this story.
Was it the one from the NHL Network infomercial? Have you seen these?
No, they're Japanese knives. If you like tapped your 4Z, I would completely chop it off. So that's why
mine's gone. Need to tap yours.
Inzu?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna. No, not Inzu. But anyway, I got her knives. She ended up getting me these UGG slippers. Awesome. She got me a backpack for hiking, the one that has the camelback in it that you can suck out of the straw. So simple gifts, but very thoughtful. And those knives are unbelievable. I'll get the name of them, but you can send them in every year. And they'll sharpen them and send them back. That's how intense these things are. Basically out of like The Last Samurai. You're going to see me in the kitchen like Tom Cruise with the slick back fucking chopping up my carrots.
Oh my God. Hey, you're going to, are you going to have that straw like go behind the ear? Like it's almost like an earpiece for an assistant coach to up top? Or is this thing just going over the shoulder?
Goes over the shoulder.
Okay,
and then
boulder holder.
Kind of like my rat tail back in grade 6. Over the shoulder.
That's
and
still saved in that shoebox?
Oh, you mean like I still have it? Oh,
yeah, I think I said that at the time that you definitely saved your rat tail. Everyone knows somebody who saved their rat tail. They're creeps.
What about you, Wit Dog?
Oh,
sorry, Biz.
I never told you guys this one. I forgot about the time I had braids, and I still have the picture of it.
I think you've put this picture out there prior.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
maybe I did talk about it.
Looking like Bo Derek from 10.
We haven't even talked since the Sandbagger, which is fucking crazy.
I know we haven't. Actually, what did you still do the present thing? You big on that? I think the older you get, the less likely. Like
no, we don't really do presents. We did some like stockings, but I just obviously shoved like a monster ring at the bottom so I had to get something. But you don't have to wrap stuff. You just slowly just kind of get things throughout the year that I think of that she may like. Not even anything expensive. Maybe funny stuff. Maybe a bath bomb. But
every kiss begins with K. Is that what you got her? Nice.
Yeah, Wit Dog wouldn't walk past the K, let alone.
Well, that's where I've bought all the wedding rings I've lost. I go to Jared's, or maybe I go to Tootie's. Is it Tootie's Fine Jewel? Christmas was great because Ryder got a year older, so I said he's 80% there. Like he was there, like, and he knew Santa was coming, and Santa brought presents, but he wasn't at the point where you're waking up. It's 5 a.m. You're going downstairs, you're running in your parents' room, like so fired up. Whereas his cousin, my nephew, is a year older. He was the night before. So I think that it was great because he was excited, but he still slept in. He still chilled. He wasn't like dying to get downstairs. So he opened 1 million boxes. The problem is he's opening these presents. And then he's like, oh, open it. Like, oh, marble thing. And then we're like, oh, all right. So he plays with it for 2 minutes, opens the next present. Then you got to open that present up. So he unwraps it. We then put it together. It took like 3 hours to do it, but it was awesome. I'm so grateful to be, home. And obviously it's a little different this year. We weren't together with tons of family, but immediate family and parents and things like that. So I had a blast. It's crazy that we haven't spoken since the Sandbagger.
Avocado. You should just get him weird shit from around the house and pack it up if he's only going to play for it with a minute.
Oh yeah, he'll be the one thing you think he'll be all fired up about. He's like, beat it, and then he's playing with the cardboard box that Amazon shipped it in. I was
going to say that. I spend all the money they play with the wrapping paper.
He's like,
in the fucking box.
Putting his head in the box. Like, I don't know where that thing came from. So Sandbagger though.
Well, we're gonna ask RA what he got. We got to ask G2 since everybody's talking about it. RA got his Playboy subscription back. Is that what you got?
Yeah, I what do you call it? Resubscribed? No, actually, I don't even think they do a paper issue anymore, do they? Maybe like once a year, or so I heard.
You still get the CDs from when you buy them 10 for a cent, and then you have
Columbia House.
Yeah, Columbia House.
I still have all my CDs. I still get all my. Actually, I went down the basement to get my Bad Santa DVD to watch the night before Christmas too.
Ooh,
do that shit.
I forgot one funny thing that happened Christmas Eve. Now this is probably only funny to parents out there, so maybe you three will be the judge here if this is gonna bomb with everyone else listening who doesn't have kids. But like I said, my nephew's 1 year older. Cooper, he's 1 year older than Ryder. So they're buddies. They're always wrestling. Ryder loves dinosaurs and cars. Those are the two things. So Cooper has an enormous present from his grandmother, my wife's mom, enormous. And Ryder has one too. Now it wasn't as big, but wrapped. And that was their big gifts, Christmas Eve. So everyone's getting ready. And the girls are reading. 'Twas the night before Christmas because she's, doing good in reading. And it's a great I'm crushing Camus. And it's awesome. And let's open the presents now, kids. Hear from the grandparents. Cooper opens up his present. It is an absolute monster. Is it Matchbox? The toy dinosaur racetrack that was 6 feet tall. Ryder looked and saw this thing. And he sprinted over like you'd never imagine in your life. Like, mine. And Cooper's a veteran. He's the older cousin. He goes, nope, my present. Ryder, come over here. Open your present. He rips it open. It's a play doctor's kit. It's stethoscope. I looked at my mother and I said, Miss, are you kidding me? His favorite thing in the world is the dinos and the cars. And she's like, Cooper asked me for this in August. I don't give a shit. I was dying laughing. So sure enough, the rest of the night, Cooper knows what's going on. He's sitting on the box of this thing going, I love my present. And Ryder taunting It was like Ryder. It was an hour. I'm like, dude, no, play with the stethoscope, buddy. It's cool to be a doctor. You'll be in debt for 12 years before you make a cent after medical school. But I just remembered that. So we can move on.
But we got to talk about RA. You cock block his stories, his gift story.
That just came into my head and I interrupted you. It's making me laugh. Go ahead, RA.
Honestly, I'm not even sure I had a gift story. I didn't really get any gifts. I don't ask for anything. I haven't asked for anything in 20 years, so I get whatever. Anything's gravy at this point. I don't have kids, so Christmas.
So when you want something, you go get it.
Yeah, that's what I always say to my wife. Okay. Yeah, if I want something in May, I buy it in May. I ain't gonna wait till fucking.
Have you ever received drugs as a Christmas present?
Yeah, me and my brother probably gave like 8s and quarters to each other over the years, and we don't even do gifts anymore. Like years ago, I'm like, dude, like you give me a hat, I give you a hat. Just save the fucking hassle. Like, it's a wash. I don't give a shit.
How much Chiclets merch were you giving out though, RA? Be honest.
Nothing like Whit's fucking old man. I'll tell you that. No,
my dad paid for it. My dad paid for it. He had a monster order, but people love the merch. It's great gifts.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
My brother actually, my brother's birthday was 2 days after Christmas. I had a little family get together yesterday, but the athletic type shit, that don't look good on me. I'm a little chunky. So like I give that stuff to my brother. He's a little more athletic fit than me. So I don't need to accentuate my curves.
Some would say wearing tighter clothes while being a little bigger is actually a great look as well. You're just like, I don't give a shit. I'm out here. You're just like, I don't know. I think you could pull it off, all right.
If I was built up top like Greg the Hammer Valentine, maybe with accompanying muscles, but I don't even have those. So,
hey, Whit, Spittin'
Chiclets,
Spittin' Chiclets Spanx. All right. RA's look like a fucking Kardashian.
An NBD man's ear. Oh shit!
Hey, but on a serious note, to everybody who is sending us messages and Instagram photos and Twitter photos of all the stuff you got, whether it was Pink Whitney or the merchandise, Grinelli did an amazing job on the merchandise, guys. He sent us all packages. I actually ended up going over to when I was having a car wash the other day. I had a bunch of this stuff and I'm like, you know what, let's give it away. So I stood there for an hour and a bunch of people came by, a bunch of Chiclets fans, and was able to not only give away some merchandise, but those Pink Whitney sticks. People are going nuts for those.
I got those things are what a gift those were.
I got so many text messages.
Firing those off to everyone.
You know what I would compare it to is the Tickle Me Elmo year. Like if you got one, everyone was like, "Wow!" Like they're fighting for it, like the Black Friday sales.
You guys weren't around for Cabbage Patch Kids. Like there were like legit riots over those fucking things back in the 80s. There was supposed to be a documentary
back then.
Oh, they were hideous dolls. They were just one of those phenomenons you can't really explain. And I mean, people were fucking robbing them from stores. There were like people fighting over them and shit.
I think my sister got one where if you got the spoon with it and then you went up and it was like the baby would start talking like that was like the innovation at the time that I was growing up. That was about the time that I walked in on her getting thumped by her now husband.
By another guy named Paul. The only people she thumps are named Paul.
Did you guys not have locks on your doors at the Bissonette house between you and your sister?
Locks.
Mom catching you.
I don't think I was allowed to lock my door. Looking back,
why do you think I
didn't have a lock? I didn't have a lock either, Biz. I didn't have a lock.
We got to get Yoli on and talk about like raising me as a kid, catching me.
Yeah, I think all the parents need to make it appearance on this pod at some point.
Hey, how about this?
I was gonna drop off those sticks because I got so many of them. I was like, oh, I'll leave them and then I'll tweet out where they are. I was like, oh, wait a minute. There's 10 nips in there. Like some 15-year-old could read on Twitter and just go pick it up and I'd end up getting arrested. So luckily I didn't do that. And I didn't have any merch left because I hawked it all.
I put mine on eBay. Made a couple bucks.
Biz signs the merch and then forges me, RA, and Grinelli's signature and then throws it up on eBay.
Yeah, Peter Mann's been signing them. Let's talk about the Sandbagger. Another great thing. G helped edit it as well. Last time I didn't say that. We have Chase, Pasha, and G help out, and they help out with this launch too. We had over 11,000 people at one time watching Sandbagger with Yans and Hazy. It was an absolute riot. The chirps were flying. My wires crossed at the end there. I mean, that's as mad as you're going to see me on a golf course.
I knew at the time that you were mad. I knew at the time that you were furious.
You were trying to hold it in, though. You were dying laughing.
Dude, for him to break out the shot clock at that point, the 22nd hole, I was laughing because it was so funny, but I also yelled back as we drove away. It's a scumbag move or something because it was. And you were pissed. I think you were planning on just firing a dart in there. And we got it done. Now I am starting, and this is well deserved. Yeah. This is like the heat I'm starting to catch right now is so well deserved. It'd be compared to like when I was -3 on a home Saturday night hockey night in Canada game in Edmonton. We lost 5-0, right? Like this is how deserved this is. But people are on me about my putting.
Yeah.
It's let me say this. All year when I was talking golf and people would bitch and whine, I said putting was an issue all year. It would come for a little bit and then it would go for a while. All of these sandbaggers, it has not been there at all because I am never even sniffing making putts. Every putt short. The stroke I'm putting on the ball is so short. It's disgusting. It's like RA's stroke in the bedroom. No offense. Sorry, buddy.
Shrapnel.
Holy shrapnel. Ricochet shot.
Not even based in reality.
No, you're not even there at the golf thing either. I need next sandbagger. I'm not leaving a putt short. I don't care because it's so embarrassing. It looks pathetic. But yeah,
maybe you need a glove on.
I think that Keith and Kevin showed how funny those two guys are. They are just hilarious, nonstop. But let's not forget, they both.
Ooh, they had a couple short ones.
They both had like a 2-3 footer for the win.
Yep.
And
I think that's karma.
And we like if I was Kevin on the second playoff hole, the 20th hole, I would have never gone good.
That's what I was surprised at. That's why did I bring it up?
Said, you go, hey, like, good. And then I was like, you want to go? You want to do that? And he's like, yeah, that's fine. And I was like, oh, the way I've been putting.
I know. And
then the next hole, I made a putt.
Hallelujah. And I was going to say it was karma for what Yan said on the first hole on the tee box. Cause that was just, but he put me on my heels on hole 1. That's why I couldn't find my game for the first 6 fucking holes. I couldn't even keep one on the fairway. For those of you who didn't watch it, they had these like lighthouse things there as what do you call them? The markers for the tees?
Yeah, tee markers were lighthouses.
They were lighthouses. So I said, oh, that's kind of cool. Like stick with the theme, Boston Harbor with the lighthouse. And then Jan's under his breath goes, looks like what's in your mom's top drawer. Hazy law.
And he was swinging. Like he mumbled it while he was doing practice swings too. And I knew it was funny because I saw Kevin and I was like, what? And then he told me, I was like, oh,
I couldn't even spit it out. I was on my heels so bad. I said it back in complete broken English and you still understood the joke. And so, but at the end of the day, a fun round. Thank you those guys for coming out. 3-0 in Boston. And we're going to be doing 2 when we're in Arizona. We're not going to tell you guys who, because you'll be hounding us for a couple months until we release it.
Golf wasn't the only extracurricular activity the Chiclets crew took part in. We were a part of the 12 trivia challenge. We were the number 1 seed. Somehow we played 1 trivia game all year. We were the number 1 seed, me and Biz, and the Wit Dog joined us. And we ended up losing to the Yak. I don't know if you guys saw it or watched or listened or whatever. We had a 1-point lead, and then Stephen Shea, he knew who Sixpence None the Richer and Sister Hazel. Actually, I didn't know who Sister Hazel was. I thought it was Blues Travis. So we ended up blowing the trivia in the last round. I don't know. I wasn't disappointed
of all time
because they were the worst music fucking questions ever. So I can't even be mad that I lost to those answers because they were just like
I would say both
songs.
Of you guys carried your weight. I was probably the weakest link, as we would all suspect. OHL education. Thanks a lot. But it was a fun time. And I think as far as other guys that were on it, it was Roan and Big Cat. And I think a lot of people ended up tuning in after it was released on YouTube.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's in our Twitter feed on Chiclets. But
is Jeff's name Delo? What is
it's
Jeff
D? Lowe, but D is his middle initial.
Why does he put his initial?
I don't know, but we're talking about it, so I guess it's a good idea.
Kind of it's a catchy name.
It's pretty badass.
Because I always say Jeff D. Lowe. I have him in my phone as JDL.
Yeah, so, 100%. You're right. I say it every time. I say, oh, Jeff D. Lowe, but I'm wondering why he does it. I didn't know if there was you think his reasoning to do it was to sound badass?
Well, he's a movie guy. I think maybe it's kind of inheriting that, what's gonna sound cool and grab people.
He knew what he was doing.
My fucking nickname's Biz Nasty. Who the fuck am I to talk? Douchiest nickname in the league, and then I tattooed it on my arm like a clown. All right, I was gonna. All right, since we brought up Jeff D. Lowe, I didn't get his recommendation on not to watch it. I ended up watching that Midnight Sky with George Clooney.
Yeah,
hands down, probably the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, why would George Clooney be in this movie? It was the worst thing I'd ever seen.
It's funny. He actually texted me right before the trivia and said how bad it was, and a couple other people texted me, so I didn't even bother putting it on. I'm curious if it was worse than Wonder Woman 1984, though, which was pretty bad. Now
we get we're gonna get in trouble for that. I'm gonna watch that just to make sure it's worse than what the one I mentioned.
There you go. All right. Well, moving right along here, we're gonna head over to a different segment. We know 2020 has been a brutal year for everybody, but we do have a bright spot here. We get to talk about the best players in hockey from 2020 because we've paired up with EA Sports NHL to announce the 2020 Team of the Year. Out of 36 nominees, 6 will be chosen as the best hockey players of 2020. We're going to have 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, and a goalie. This is for the calendar year 2020, so this goes back to way before the stoppage, includes the bubble and the Stanley Cup final. And today we're going to start by announcing the 36 players nominated. Then we're going to have a Spittin Chiclets snake draft. And on January 1st, our boy Biz is going to make his award show debut and announce the winners in a special video. But first, we're going to mention the players. I'm going to read them off here, starting off with centers. We got Nathan MacKinnon, Leon Draisaitl, Mika Zibanejad, Sidney Crosby, Austin Matthews, and Elias Pettersson, a.k.a. P. Moving on to the goalies, we have Carey Price, UC Saros, Carter Hart, Andrei Vasilevskiy, Connor Hellebuck, Elvis Merzlikins. Okay, moving right along to the D, we got Ryan Suter, Roman Josi, Ivan Provorov, Victor Hedman, Quinn Hughes, looks like Pernelli, Shea Theodore. On the left wing, we got Dominic Kubalik, Jamie Benn, Mike Hoffman, Temi Panarin, Alex Ovechkin, Kyle Connor. On the right side of D, we got Cale Makar, John Klingberg, Seth Jones, Alex Pietrangelo, Kevin Shattenkirk, and John Carlson. And on right wing, we got David Pastrnak, Patrick Kane, Mikko Rantanen, Nikita Kucherov, Mitch Marner, and Mark Stone. All right, boys. If you saw this last year, you'll know that there was some serious heat going out to the winners. There was some nice custom skates and a goalie mask that our buddy Jordan Bennington wore at the skills competition. So we'll have some more of that. But let's get cracking, see who picks first in the snake draft. If you're not familiar with a snake draft, it's like a fantasy football draft. The last pick of the first round picks the first pick of the second round, and it just continues to snake through, hence the name snake draft. So what's up, boys? You ready to go, Biz?
We're going to see who the best GM on the podcast is right now.
Absolutely.
And we're going to pick from the hat to make it fair. So whoever gets picked first gets to pick which position they want to draft in. So this is the real deal, Whit.
All right. So
I'm in.
First name drawn. Let's see. We have Biz.
Biz, where are you going to be picking?
I'm going to pick fourth.
Oh, he wants the 4-5 action.
I like the 4-5 action.
Very savvy move.
I think you guys are going to be
rookie
such
GM.
rookies heading into this one, and I already have a strategy in place.
All right. So now we'll pick the next one, and it'll be first if they
so
decide. Okay. All right. Just letting the listeners know. Next up, we have G. Ganelli.
What do you want, G?
Take numero uno, boys.
You want
What
first?
an idiot.
Stepping up to the plate.
That's
What
a
an
rookie
idiot.
snake
No, it
draft.
isn't. No, it isn't.
Oh, let's
Yeah.
hear it.
All right. Next up, let's see who picks. We have Andrei. So, yeah, I'll pick second. Whatever. I'm not going to make this complicated.
Okay,
All right, and the Whit Dog will pick third.
All right.
All right.
First overall.
G, do you already
pick
have
is-
first overall teed up?
First overall is an easy pick for me, boys. Nathan MacKinnon, 25 points in 15 playoff games last year. It's a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer to me. First overall pick, Nathan MacKinnon.
Okay. Congrats, Whit, on the victory. Just putting that one right in his lap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's going to wait about 2 hours to pick again, and there's many good players out there. But still, yeah, MacKinnon was up there. Everyone knew he was probably going to be the number one overall pick. But where do we go from here is the question with RA.
We're going to go between the pipes, and I'm going to go with the local guy. I don't know if it's because I'm in Tampa right now, but Andrei Vasilevskiy, an absolute horse all year, a horse during the playoffs. He could have easily won the Conn Smythe. He didn't, but either way, he's my first round pick, Andrei Vasilevskiy.
Yeah, I was talking to myself about, you grab a goalie or you grab a superstar center, and I don't know, boys. I'm not going with the goalie. I decided that. I just don't know how you don't go out and you get Leon Draisaitl. You could talk all you want about how much of a guarantee MacKinnon was. Draisaitl, for me, superstar. And the season he had with McDavid out, we'll talk to my team at the end of this. 2020.
Taking the German. What do we got, Biz? First round.
Ooh, putting me at a tough bind here, but I'm going to have to go back to the well where it all began with the Pittsburgh Penguins. I need leadership. I need to control the middle of the ice. What are you looking up like that, G4? You thought I was going Matthews, didn't you? No.
I did.
You go back to the guy who's been there, done that 3 times, Sidney Crosby. He's going to be my center iceman.
So when picking the best team of 2020, you're just picking a guy for what he did in like 2010? Let's keep the draft.
He had a great playoff. If you think that Pittsburgh loss was on Sidney Crosby, he brought the noise.
Oh, that's putting words in my mouth. I'm saying that you think that you have to convince me that Crosby's one of the best of all time. I'm just saying we're picking for 2020. I mean, I don't know, Biz.
Well, I got the next pick. So if you don't mind, I'd like to announce it. I'm going to go Patrick Kane on the right side. So I got Sid passing a Kaner.
You know what? I like that pick. But I also like a certain player to have to my right side, another European who, when healthy this past year. Actually, no, I'm going to switch that up. I'm still sticking on the right side, but I look down a little bit, and I'm going with Kucherov. I'm going with the Stanley Cup champ. I'm going with the guy that, along with Braden Point, was the first 2 teammates to have more than 30 points in a playoff since Crosby and Malkin years ago. So right now, I got Draisaitl center and Kucherov as my right wing. Good luck, guys.
That's a decent start. we'll see in the third round late.
Yeah, it's not too shabby at all. I suppose I should put somebody up my middle right about now. So, you know what? I'm going to go with our boy up in Toronto, Austin Matthews. Fantastic year by the kid. He's always had a good year, but how do you not take him when he's on the board right now, I guess?
All right, boys. My team is going to score goals. That's what we're going to do this season.
Yes,
95 points in 70 games last year. David Pastrnak. He's my number 2 pick here.
Shocker.
That's who I was thinking. And then
we're going to play fast and we're going to score goals.
So you got MacKinnon. You got MacKinnon and Pastrnak. That's right there with me, with Draisaitl and Kucherov. But I got the cup.
All right, I got to fill in. Let's see here. Left winger or right winger? You know what?
Doesn't Grinelli go twice?
Yeah, he does. Wait,
I do indeed go twice.
Does.
Thank you, Whit.
Jesus.
My second pick.
Snake.
I mean, 5 OT games. Recently had him on the podcast. Have to go with Seth Jones. Just an absolute horse on the back end.
This guy can't draft, Biz.
Absolute horse on the back end.
He's probably third on the list on the.
This guy can't draft.
No, he's
all right. You're up, buddy.
I'm up. I'm going to take the left winger from the New York Rangers, who's not butchered. Temi Panarin. He's an absolute stud. He's so much more value, I think, than a left winger here. So
you just crushed my heart. That was my next pick.
You want to get your heart crushed a little bit more? Because I got Draisaitl. I got Kucherov. I'm going to chuck on back to my back end. I'm going to grab a guy named Victor Hedman. How do you do in the playoffs? Hey, 2020, how's the 2020 best team of 2020 doing? Oh, I have 2 of the best players on the Stanley Cup winning team, along with the best player in the league from Edmonton. So thanks for coming to this draft, guys, but I'm all over Hedman.
Well, I got back-to-back picks here, and I'm going to compete with your squad here, and I'm going to go Cale Makar, the best young defenseman in the game. Speaking of video games, you might as well be playing a video game when you're him out there. And then going back with the next pick to secure my up front, I got Alex Ovechkin, the guy who's on the cover here of the NHL 94 throwback game that NHL 21 put out. So EA 21, excuse me. So that's who I got. I got the 4 guys dialed in right now, and I'm sitting pretty.
Oh, man, not as pretty as the Wit Dog, because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off my D, boys. I'm going to finish off the D. And what am I going to grab? Who am I going to grab? I'm going to grab the guy that had the most points in the regular season by a defenseman, John Carlson, who had 75 points in 69 games. That's over a point per game. This team's decent. I'll say that. Go ahead, RA.
Yeah, it is decent. Let me see. Do I want to D it up yet or what? Yeah, you know what? We got that young puck-moving defenseman. I can't resist him on the left side. Twin himself, Quinn Hughes.
All right, so going to solidify my defense with the Norris Trophy winner, Roman Josi. Easy pick for me there.
Yep.
And then I'm picking again, and I'm going to solidify the back end, and I'm picking Carey Price in goal.
Ooh, Price. We're going to get a run on goalies. Let's see here. All right. I need a defenseman. I'm going to go with
time limit.
All right. Yep. Alex Pietrangelo, right side of my D. No brainer.
Okay. I'm just going to finish off my team, or not finish off, but get there. So I got the Cup winners. I got Draisaitl. I'll just go and I'll grab the Vezina winner. He played in Winnipeg, guys. Connor Hellebuyck. This draft, so I'm not even taking a left wing. I'm gonna play 5-on-4 in this one, boys. Thanks for the title, EA. Send me some stuff. Send me a belt. GM of the Chiclets year.
Nice.
Biz, you got 2 picks.
I'm going to go back-to-back here. I'm going to go probably one of the most underrated defensemen out in the West, plays for Vegas, was probably overshadowed a little bit by the young guns, Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar, but I got Shea Theodore. Okay, that's a pretty silky, smoothing, smooth back end for me between Cale Makar and now, Shea Theodore. I got to pick my goaltender. You picked Connor Hellebuyck, so now I'm forced to go the young route. Elvis Merzlikins will be my goaltender. I know we need a little bit of experience back there, but he's not shy to being thrown in the pressure cooker by John Tortorella. So there's my squad, boys.
You took him over Carter Hart? Oh, my God.
I
can't draft. You can't draft.
Well, who had better numbers last year?
I don't know. I just look at the year. I just think Carter Hart, Philly was so good. I mean, I'm not dogging Dermer's leagues. I just think the pick was hard. I think the pick was hard.
All right, Whit, you got, I believe, a left winger left.
Yeah, I'm not taking a left wing. No, I will. I'll just take somebody just to carry around the other 4 players' luggage because, I mean, actually, you know what? I like throwing teammates together. I got 2 guys from Tampa. I got 2 guys from Winnipeg. The American stud, Unreal Wheels, Kyle Connor, game breaker. Thank you.
Wild card.
Thank you.
That's a good team, Whit. I'm a little jealous. I like my squad, but we'll see how people vote. I got a nice young back end with the great legs. Legs feed the wolf, folks. Just remember that.
All right, I got to finish my roster off here with the right wing. I'm going to go with the playoff animal himself, Mark Stone, an absolute beast all season long, especially in the playoffs. So he's going to fill out my roster. And we go with G.
All right, guys. I think it's an easy pick for me here. It's what have you done for me lately? I look at the Stanley Cup Finals. What other team was there besides the Tampa Bay Lightning? It was the Dallas Stars on the back of who? Jamie Benn. I need a little grit in my lineup, so I'm taking Jamie Benn. 19 playoff points. Is that good?
Finishing in last. I think it's going to be between me and Whit.
I think there's not even. I think it's like a runaway.
Well, we'll let the fans decide because we're going to put our teams up. We're going to list the snake drafts, and you guys are going to vote on who the best general manager. And this is all brought to you by EA Sports, NHL 21. And we're going back to 2020 for these picks. We'll let the fans decide. Looking forward to seeing you guys at our little drive-by. What do you call it, G? Award show? Drive-by award show?
Drive-by award show, baby.
First biz.
On the spot.
We are going to read off our teams just to summarize them because the snake.
Can I read off my team when it's my turn? I'd like to read off my team myself.
Okay, let's do. G was the first pick, so we'll let G read his team first.
A lot of negative connotations towards my team. Don't really respect that at all because my team's stacked. Nathan MacKinnon, David Pastrnak, Seth Jones, Roman Josi, Carey Price, and Jamie Benn. That's a great team.
His team's better than we were giving him
it's
credit
a good
for,
team.
But it ain't the winning
Sounded
team.
better.
But it's just
sounded better when he relisted it.
Well, you forgot about MacKinnon because first overall pick was so long ago.
And Roman Josi. Getting Roman Josi in the 4th as with my 4th pick. That's a good pick.
All right. I'm up next. Vasi is my goalie. 2nd round. Austin Matthews is my center. Temi Panarin for my left winger. Quinn Hughes on the left side of the D. Alex Pietrangelo on the right side of the D. And Mark Stone to give a little grit to that forward line on the right side.
You want to go with?
Right there? Yeah, I'm gonna go right ahead. I got the Vezina winner, Hellebuck in net. I got on lefty Victor Hedman. How's that guy? Decent. On the right D, I got the guy with the most points last year as a defenseman. That's John Carlson. On the left side of my forward unit, I'm running around with Kyle Connor. He flies. He's got no problem keeping up with my centerman, Leon Draisaitl. Just a dominant offensive performance all season long. And on the right wing, how was Nikita Kucherov's season, guys? How did that end? So that's my squad.
All right.
I got a young back end. I told you about it. Shea Theodore, Cale Makar in net with Merzlikins. He won't be getting many shots because we'll be spending most of our night in the offensive zone with Alex Ovechkin. He's one of the cover boys with the tinted visor. He's going to be tickling the twine. Who do I got on? Who do I got on the other wing?
You got Ovechkin and Patty Kane.
Patrick Kane might have won a Conn Smythe. Might have won 3 Stanley Cups. He's got the experience. Who else has got 3 cups? Sidney Crosby, my centerman. So talk about experience and a young back end with some young legs in net. You guys are toast. Thank you very much. GM of the Year of the Spittin Chiclets podcast, Paul Bissonnette, all brought to you by NHL 21.
EA Sports.
And once again, we want to say a big thank you to our friends over at EA Sports NHL. It's been an honor to help them announce the 2020 Team of the Year. And once again, our boy Biz on January 1st is going to make his award show debut and announce the winners in a very special video. So do look for it at that time. Once again, big thanks to our friends over at EA Sports NHL. It was an honor to collaborate with them. I've been playing this game for almost 30 years, so it's pretty cool for me, even as an old timer. And a lot of the fans, a lot of the listeners voted on our teams. And the Wit Dog, you look like the best general manager of the crew.
Yeah, that was a hell of a performance by myself. And I think when I got Draisaitl and Kucherov, you could say I don't remember the exact order I went, but having those two doesn't really matter. Your left wing, and then Hedman and Carlson together. That was it. And then I threw in a Vezina winning goalie. So it was fun to do business with you guys. Hopefully we can all be NHL GMs one day. You guys all get relegated.
Oh yeah,
soccer term.
I don't even know what long-term IR is, and I'm calling Elliot Freeman about it. You want me to be a GM? They said I was.
We got to go into that. We got to go into that move by the Lightning.
Oh, gee. Well, that's what people were saying online. They said I was as good a GM as player. So
yeah,
I probably finished dead last behind Grinelli there. And you did a pretty good job too, RA. You were getting tire pumped.
Yeah, I didn't think it was too shabby. I mean, I thought Vasi, like I said, most people don't pick goalies that early, but I don't think too many players had a better 2020 than Vasilevskiy did. So I'll stand behind that pick. But before we get to all the transactions, Biz, because there were a lot of them, we got to talk about the World Juniors, man. That's the big story in town right now. It started Christmas Day. Huge bummer for our buddy Kirby Doc, man. Like, I know we always had the Chiclets bump. Well, he got the opposite of that. Poor guy breaks his wrist. The last exhibition game looked like a pretty innocuous hit too, but just that's the way the fucking cookie crumbles in hockey sometimes. Chicago just tweeted before we recorded. He got surgery. He's going to be looking at a 4 to 5 month recovery. So get well, brother. Kirby, we're heartbroken for you, pal. It was awful to see.
I guess you'd have to call that the Chiclets dump. Is that what we're going to be labeling it as?
Yeah.
Yeah. When Grinelli, I think you sent the video over to the group chat. It was, you see him pull his hand out of his glove, right? And you're like, you're hoping that the jersey just looks weird, but ultimately it didn't look great. I ended up seeing a picture of it. Horrible fluke injury, guys. Then the debate ensues. This guy played in the NHL last year. Why is he even there? Right away, I want to shut that down. You talk to any big time player at the NHL level, and majority have been to that tournament. And in order to get to the level of where you're going to be able to, rise to the occasion, you have to experience it at these different levels of play. And I believe they asked Jonathan Toews about it before the tournament. And he said, if it wasn't for that experience and gaining that confidence, being the guy at that level, I don't think I would have went on to have the career that I would have had. And for this kid who, he'd played 2 years a junior, so he'd never really had the opportunity to be the guy, right? He makes the team at a training camp as a 19-year-old with the Hawks. I think he has a very solid rookie year. The stoppage happens. We have him on. He talks about finally getting rest because people don't understand that full year and what it takes out of you. He goes on and has a strong playoff, and establishes himself as it even more okay, this guy's going to be a full timer, and like we might have a weapon on our hands here to take on Toews and Kane's role when they may go on. No brainer going to that tournament to try to get that type of experience, a fluke injury. And, now he doesn't get to experience that. But Whit, I was going to throw it over to you. This game, and every player who becomes great can attest to it and gets to the NHL, it's going to test you. The game's going to test you. Yep. This kid thinks he's going to go gain that experience. And before the tournament even starts, after he gets a C on his crest, he gets that stripped from him. And it's probably such a let down for him. He's sitting there watching on TV, probably trying not to be bummed out. But as I said, this game will test you.
I think that it was so innocent looking. That's what was awkward enough. He went to hit a guy. It didn't look like much. And when you said he pulls the glove off, a lot of times you'll see that if a guy might think he got cut, right, where it's kind of a panic attack. So to do that, something's severely wrong. And that's why right away I was like, felt so bad. And when you talk about the decision of going, and I've seen this argument everywhere, I try to put myself in Stan Bowman's shoes and Kirby Doc's shoes, if you're going to look at it. I certainly don't wish I could have to deal with the issue Stan Bowman is dealing with right now, But if you're sitting there and this kid comes to you, and he mentioned to us, he called his agent, I want to play. And the season isn't going, right? If this was a normal year and this kid starting off and he's playing top two lines, he's not going. This is a crazy situation. And I don't think he would have gone. He didn't go last year. So you have to look at this year being so different and such an odd circumstance in terms of not only do you go and represent your country and play in a tournament that, as he told us, he dreamed of playing, and every Canadian kid, it's their dream. Not only does he get the chance to do that, well, he's also looking at it like, I'm going to be flying in these games, buzzing right into the regular season. So this year it was like, how would you argue against him going? Like, I understand that everyone comes at you, well, there's plenty of young stars. The teams didn't let him go. Yeah, and in the end, it looks like they made the right decision. But you got to look at this as you're Stan Bowman. This kid calls you, or his agent calls you. You're thinking, all right, well, he could get injured, but like, how are you gonna approach every single situation like that? He could go dominate and then come in and have an unreal second year. It's like, it's so easy after to say that.
He's probably consulted so many other guys too and asked these questions. And he's like, and exactly like you said, and I didn't bring up that point, is assuming that he goes there with that team and gains that confidence is already in mid-season stride because he's experienced that. And he takes that confidence from not only last playoff and last season and goes into the season, they have a good start. Well, I mean, dude, as far as a career standpoint, it kind of skyrockets your trajectory. And I know I always go back to that word because it's the longest word I know and I love it. But we've seen it happen a million times. So it sucks for Kirby Dach, such a fluke injury. We're sorry for the Chiclets dump, but all in all, I think they made the right call at the right time, and I like the decision. So, yeah.
And as of this recording, the first two games of group play have been concluded. Russia beat the U.S. Christmas night 5-3. It was actually a good game. Russia was up 4-1. U.S. pulled goalie, got within a goal. Russia got the empty netter. Canada absolutely pummeled Germany. I mean, you had to feel bad for the Germans, 16-2. You know, they had the COVID situation. They weren't icing a full lineup. And, you know, if you're a Canadian kid, it's like, you can't stop playing. I mean, you could, like James Duthie, a recent guest said, all you can do is stop celebrating, really. You can't stop playing. Like, otherwise you're not doing your job out there. You just
not only
not celebrate.
You're trying to get these guys these reps too early in the tournament. It's finally game speed. Let's go here. These guys haven't played hockey for a long time either.
And unless I'm wrong, which has happened 5,000 times on this show, goal differential ends up coming into play in this tournament. So, yeah. Dude, light it up, man. This is fucking... You're one step away from the NHL for the most part. All right, you're a step away from pro hockey. You're a little bit away from the NHL. Sorry you guys lost 16-2. It's bad luck that they lost the players from COVID, but fuck, this isn't 10-year-old hockey.
Yeah, I also read online someone did say that it goes to goal differential when it comes to head-to-head if it were for positioning.
So it's the second tiebreaker?
Right. So obviously they're not going to be in a tiebreaker with Germany, I believe. But
then take that point away.
Right. But that's nor here nor there. Where and that might not be the case. I read it on Twitter, and you know how oftentimes Twitter tells the truth.
Asshole 6969.
Yeah. But oh fuck! Now I forgot what original point I was going to make. Oh, it's the first game of the tournament. What are you going to do? Every guy's got to get their legs into it, and they've been sitting there in their hotel rooms for 3 weeks, all horned up, young, dumb, and full of cum, ready to go and put on a show for Canada.
And the only thing that the only issue I have with that game is to try to figure out a way where in this tournament it's more competitive, because you're waiting for Sweden, Russia, Canada, US, Finland at the end. So I don't know if you make the tournament smaller, that's unfair to these countries who get in. But I've been watching, and it's been great hockey. I mean, Russia lost last night to Czech. The Czech goalie was out of his mind. The Russia game, first we can go over Canada, the shit pumping of Germany, and then they played Slovakia. I'm watching the game. That was a hell of an effort by Slovakia. By the way, I heard on the broadcast they haven't had a first rounder in 15 years, the country of Slovakia. I was shocked by that.
Who was it? Who was the last one?
No clue. Didn't look it up. Just heard the stat.
I'd get shit for that if I brought that info and didn't have the guy. Anyway.
No, dummy. You know what you do? You would have asked the question that you just asked after saying what I said. That's what you would have done. So fuck off. And the other thing about Slovakia that was incredible, they won the World Championship in 2003, and in 2002 they didn't even get the chance because they were they had to play in to get into the Olympics, and they weren't allowed to bring their NHL players, or their NHL season was going on, so those guys couldn't play. So they never even got into the 2002 Salt Lake City Olympics. But that's a hockey nation that showed up against Canada. I mean, to lose 3-1 with an empty net. Canada, I watched that Bowen Byram. Guy's amazing. And so is Drysdale. Those two are playing together. It's like, how are you supposed to get the puck away from either one of those? They'll break it out with ease every time. But I don't think it's going to be as easy for Canada as a lot of people thought, because I'm watching Sweden. They look awesome. Although that Lucas Raymond just got injured, the 4th overall pick last year by Detroit. He went into the boards awkwardly. I don't know if he hurt his back or he looked like he couldn't put weight on his left leg, but it's always great once you get to maybe the semis. The quarters will still be good, but there's always going to be games that are blowouts in this tournament, and people whining and complaining. They're 18, 19 years old.
Trevor Zegras from the Americans is unbelievable.
Jesus.
So the passing on that kid.
I think he'll come on Chiclets.
Passing.
I met his dad at a BU game last year. I brought Ryder to his first BU game, and like 4 days later, COVID hit and the world shut down. But I was watching him. He was unreal. I was talking to his dad. He said his dad listens to the show. So at some point, Trevor Zegras, you'll see him lighting it up in Anaheim.
We also had some supplemental discipline, feeling like the old NHL here. 1 game for Braden Schneider for violation of Rule 124, checking to the head neck area versus Germany. He got tossed halfway through the first period, so it was basically a 2-game suspension, more or less. No argument here. I mean, he didn't maybe mean to do it, but he did it. And also Austrian defenseman Philip Wimmer. I'm sorry if I'm anglicizing that, but his was a little more blatant. It was definitely a blindside hit. He caught USA's Patrick Moynihan. Absolutely fucking just caught him blindside. One of those. If that was an NHL hit, he's probably getting fucking 5.
If that was Wilson, he's getting his head cut off in a guillotine in the town square.
Mail it to his parents. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to see it first game of the season. So listen, I'm old school. So those hits are just you can't do that anymore. Those are toast.
Yeah.
The one was directly in the head.
Rock'em Sock'em. Anybody listening who used to watch the Rock'em Sock'em
videos?
Those were
the most amazing videos. You could sit there and watch them for 7 hours in a row. The same one. He used to always talk about.
We should start a new one. Rock'em Sock'em. Rock'em
Sock'em.
Boom! Trademark it.
Yeah.
He's gonna fucking snap.
Jeff, get the domain covered.
Hey, one other little touch I've noticed is the linesmen, at least a couple of the games, their first puck drop, one of them come up and says, "Hey, let's do that hockey." Like just when you thought that phrase was worn out, that guy might have made it cool again. And then it might have been the same linesman. He says, "Shake and bake." He dropped a little Ricky Bobby line out there. Just goofy little touches like that. I think those are fun, man.
Who's the NHL guy always doing it? Always. I'm
Wes McCauley, the referee.
Wes McCauley.
Yeah, when he's giving like the calls on the mic.
Maybe he's trying to be the next Wes McCauley. I mean, people are going to know his name after he's barking at the players. He starts talking. He's like, "Hey, again."
Wes calls him out.
Yeah. Oh, about stealing a shtick. Battle of the referees.
Wes.
We glanced over my first glimpse anyway of is it Stützle, the first
player,
the first pick to Ottawa, his tape job.
Yeah, that's nuts.
The crime scene. It's worse than pasta.
He has it on the toe vertically. He has it on the toe vertically and then horizontal just along the middle of the blade.
Looks like a big dick. Just looks like
he's looked great out there though. He's looked fantastic.
The shaft and the head. It looks like a dick. He should put a little pee hole on the end. Then he'll start sniping.
little strips of white tape as the cum coming out on.
Yeah, he should do a black version, and then with the white, the little white drop cum stains of clear.
It goes up to his gloves.
Yeah, I'd be putting clear tape over it to snap it around. But
he's nasty though. He flies around. His skating sick. He's been playing in the DEL, so he plays against men. He'll be a lot of fun to watch. Ottawa's going to have some games that are exciting this year. I guarantee you that.
Yeah,
actually, we can jump right into them. I had them a little further down, but the Sens, man, they're continuing to load up for the upcoming season. They picked up Derek Stepan from Biz's Coyotes for a second rounder in 2021. They had 3 second rounders already, so it was probably easy to spare one, even if the analytics folks thought it was an overpay. He had 1 year left at $6.5 million cap hit, but it's only $2 million in real dollars, which means a lot more to the Senators. Senators also acquired defenseman Braden Coburn and forward Cedric Paquette and a second rounder in 2022 from Tampa Bay in exchange for Marian Gaborik and Anders Nilsson's long-term injured reserve deals. One of those mutually beneficial deals. Ottawa gets a couple of veteran character guys, and Tampa Bay gets a little cap relief. What was your take on that, Biz?
Well, I mean, getting back a second rounder is great. He provided a lot of leadership here. He was a great 200-foot center. I think as time goes on, I would say that he was probably a 1B at his best point in the NHL. He was never like a top end center, but he was very consistent, having 50, 60-point seasons while being very good on the penalty kill. We talked about providing that leadership. He's great in the community, like all positive. His production offensively has slowly declined, and I think that they saw an opportunity, considering the assets we've not only lost, to certain situations and for certain reasons, a way to replenish that. And a second rounder is a big deal moving forward, given the lack of assets that we do have. So best of luck to Step. Thank you for everything you did for the organization. A guy that as a media member, when you interview someone, you're going in being like, yes, this guy is going to talk. He's going to articulate. He's going to be nice. He was a great guy. So best of luck, Step, and great work by Army to get an asset there. And on the rumor mill, don't know if it's came across the wire yet. I think the fact that Coyotes are signing Derek Brassard.
Yeah, Guillaume Latendresse said that they're working on a 1-year deal. Sorry.
Yes, and I talked to Elliot Friedman, who said that he'd looked into it, and it seemed as if though that was going to be the case. I talked to Elliot mostly because of this long-term IR situation that I still have no fucking clue about. He tried to explain it to me. It's the occurring part of, I just don't get it, man.
It can get confusing, man. It's a lot of details. But there was a lot of banter online about the fact that this long-term IR thing is being manipulated a little bit too much. And part of me agrees with him, although that would be being a bit of a hypocrite, considering what I complimented Chayka on this. He wasn't the first GM to do it, but he's probably been the one to manipulate it the most in order to take on long-term IR deals, but gain assets from other organizations. Jesus Christ, other organizations in order to do it. And Gord Miller had a tweet, and here I'll read it. So we'll be here for another 6 hours.
I don't know. Go ahead.
He wrote this. I think this loophole needs to be closed. Cap relief for long-term injury reserve should only count for players who are playing for that team at the time they went on long-term IR, not acquired from someone else. It's legal, but it's cap circumvention. So you're seeing a lot of these GMs right now play cap. What do they call it? Cap gymnastics. I kind of like the term. It's silly. Go ahead.
Doing it by the rules, Biz. You know what I mean? And just to G just texted me and said maybe explain it. Basically, long-term injury reserve is like for example, Alex Steen. He basically all but officially retired. He's not going to play hockey again. He just didn't put his paperwork in, but his contract is still live. So what the Blues do is they put his contract on long-term injury reserve, which allows them to go over the cap up to whatever his money is. Now, if you have 2 or 3 players, in this case, the Tampa Bay Lightning, then you can go way over your cap. Now, I don't think we should yell at GMs in front offices because they're playing by the rules. I mean, if you've got a guy on your staff who can find these angles to make it work, then fucking by all means do it. Go ahead, Biz.
Well, so I agree with you. I saw his point and I was like, okay. And then after I talked to Elliot Friedman, he brought up the point of like, well, considering the cap hell some of these teams are in because of the pandemic, this would make for a very difficult log jam. And also he says, what's one of the most interesting parts about the NBA? Some people will completely disagree, but the amount of action and transactions, because it creates all this, oh my God, another fucking star is getting like it's just more action happening where these teams who are in the midst of competing can make a run for it. It creates fan engagement. So after hearing all the different perspectives, I could see why a team who's maybe been, I don't want to say shafted by it, but hasn't been able to use it at all, would be more no for it than a team who has ended up getting out of their cap situation and or acquiring assets because of taking on these long-term IR contracts. I'm more for it than against it, RA. So I just wanted to hop in and tell you that, and I agree with the point you're making.
And I should follow up. Obviously, we just talked about the Sens deal. Tampa was on the other end of that. They dumped $3.35 million to Ottawa. They took back almost $7.5 million in salary. But again, that's all long-term money. It was a mutually beneficial deal. But also, Nikita Kucherov, as speculated, he's out for the regular season due to hip surgery. So he's going to go on long-term injury reserve as well. Of course, other people say, why didn't he get the surgery before? It's like, well, that's none of your business. Like, he got it now. I mean, it's
you really think the plan was to miss him for all year, guys? Like, whoever says that, Biz, you want to know who the teams that get shafted by it? They're not the teams that don't get the chance to do it. They're the teams who are competing against Tampa.
Correct. Correct.
And it's like, all right, this year they might be kind of screwed. They got to sign Cirelli. They got to, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, they're fine. And they get Kucherov back for the playoffs. So, yep, you guys are right. Don't blame the teams. Don't blame the GMs. Blame the league. Blame, the NHL not figuring out that this could happen.
I guess it was just a bit odd. If they would have seen it as such a big problem, they would have addressed it when they figured it all out this off season, right? So they saw it as something moving forward. I think it's for the betterment of the league. They decided not to do anything about it because of the issues that I mentioned with the cap not going up and all these issues that it created. So yeah. I just thought it created some good discussion, and some fans who watch maybe don't understand why certain things are happening and like what long-term IR is. So hopefully we did somewhat of a good job explaining it. I don't know if there's a cap as to how much you can take on of it. I don't know how much accrues. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Accrues. Well, put it this way. Tampa's going to start the season, Biz, with $17 million in cap commitments on long-term injury reserve between Kucherov, Marian Gaborik, and Anders Nilsson, the concussed goalie who played for Ottawa last year. So,
what does the word accrues have to do with this?
So basically, in some cases, if certain teams put guys on long-term IR, they're able to save cap space in the long run.
It's not just that year. I believe it's throughout the course of that season. So this is once again where I have no fucking clue what I'm talking about. I just think I may have somewhat understood it.
We're gonna have to bring Alan Walsh back to explain this to our audience. But obviously, we're talking about Tampa Bay. We also have to note they re-upped a pair of 23-year-old restricted free agents in forward Anthony Cirelli and defenseman Eric Chernak. They also signed defenseman Jan Rutta, who was UFA but opted to stay with Tampa. Cirelli signed for 3 years, $14.4 million. That comes out to a $4.8 million cap hit. He's coming off his ELC. He had a career-high 44 points last year, 9 points in 25 playoff games. He's obviously a key part of that lineup. Pal, who we haven't met yet, but Dmitry Filipovich said, there was a 2-month stretch last season during which the Lightning went 26-5-2 to turn this season around when 5-on-5 goals with Anthony Cirelli on the ice were 29-4 in favor of the Lightning.
Unbelievable.
You don't necessarily have to put points on the board to have an impact.
Player.
You know how I'll summarize it is they just basically got a Sergachev type up front. So they have this 3-year period where they're able to stall to see if these guys are able to blossom into what the strong part of the core group is, and hopefully bang out a few more cups. And if they do, those other guys will be towards the end of their deals and they could figure that out then. So they're not
going anywhere.
They are not going anywhere, these guys.
Chernak was also coming off his ELC deal. He signed 3 years, $8.85 million, just under $3 million cap hit. So
he's an animal. That guy's tough as shit and plays hard. And that's the perfect type. I'm not going to say bottom pair defenseman, but, 4, 5, 6 D-man that they need that makes them so difficult to play against. It's not just the skill with Hedman and Sergachev. It's the grit. Like the Bogosian, was there last year. Like Cernak's mean. So it's just an all-around sick team.
I played with him in Ontario.
You did?
Yeah, he was in Ontario.
Was he fighting then?
No, I don't think he understood the language very well. I think
you told me this once. I remember that.
And I didn't know. I didn't know if he was going to end up developing, but then I saw him play for the Lightning. I'm like, oh no, LA gave up an unbelievable prospect. This guy, he was like Drago though, 6'2", 6'3", just built like a brick shit house, very mobile. I just wasn't sure what was going on between the ears, but he's obviously figured it out.
A couple of the notes on Tampa. Rutta signed 2 years, $2.6 million for a 1.3 cap hit. And GM Julian Brisebois said Stamkos is expected to be ready and healthy for the start of the season. And one quick note going back to Ottawa, they did sign Stützle to his 3-year entry-level contract. That was basically a formality, but we still want to make note of it. Speaking of free agency, the last big forward name in the market, the guy who everybody was waiting to see what he did, Mike Hoffman. He signed a PTO with the Blues. He will be in camp January 3rd. The reason he's going to be on a PTO, which is a professional tryout, basically St. Louis has to get their money straight. They still need to get Steen and Tarasenko officially on the long-term injured reserve, which I just explained. So essentially he's waiting in the wings, and unlike Biz and Witt's PTO, Hoffman will actually be on the St. Louis Blues roster.
Okay, nice. Fucker.
Come on, that was a fucking layup.
That was oh man, there were so many good daggers coming at us.
Yeah, somebody said next thing you know, he's starting a hockey podcast.
Yeah, next stop, Chiclets co-host.
Does he need a host?
No, next stop, unfortunately, was Russia. He better not hope he's going there. And then it was Chiclets. But
shit.
yeah, I mean, people. Okay, so I sent a tweet. I'm gonna guess that this isn't what what his agent told him it would be like when he was UFA. Now, granted, this year's a gong show, but all these people are like, well, he's obviously he's gonna sign a deal there. He's going there. He's gonna sign a deal. They got to figure it out. They got to get Steen on the LTIR. They got to wait till the season starts. I say, yeah, but even if he signs a deal, it's probably a 1-year deal.
It's probably 1 year.
This guy was probably looking at 5 years, 25, 27 million. Everyone was saying so. Yeah, it's been a bummer for that guy. But if he goes and lights it up this year and things get back to normal next year, fans back in the building, who knows what happens in the summer then. But still, it's a tough year for him to have to go really prove it again. Luckily, he's on a nasty team.
And if he has to prove it, why not do it with I would consider them a cup contender again. Yep. They got a lockup done.
They also have to figure out, like, it's not going to be that easy replacing Pietrangelo. Like, it's like St. Louis is really good, but Parayko didn't have a great year last year.
He needs to bounce back. He had a tough bubble.
Yeah,
very
so 25
tough bubble.
Minutes a night, 40-point number one D-men.
I think they're going to get it done by committee. They got Falk locked in. They got Krug now. They got a pretty solid back end. I hear what you're saying when you're taking a guy who's lugging that much ice out of the lineup. You got to replace that piece, but. It's clearly a risk. People are saying he's going to replace Steen in that price range, probably 4.5 to the 5 range. And, I guess if it's a hot start, they can sign him in February is the rule now. Similar to like a LeBanc situation, although he was restricted, he got the 1 year, $1 million. And then at a certain point in the season, which it was January 1st, I believe this year now it's going to be in February where they could end up locking him in long-term. So it's still a gamble. It's crazy, but that's the team you probably want to do it with.
There you go. One other note before we get to other signings here. The NHL schedules actually came out since our last episode. They're going to be doing basically what I would call baseball-style schedules with, going to one city, playing 2-3 games. They might have a random spot in the road here and there. These teams are going to be playing 56 games in 4 months. The non-Canadian divisions, like I said, they're going to be playing their division rivals 8 times each. We're going to get 10 battles of Alberta, which is obscene. Montreal and Ottawa at one point are going to play each other 4 times in a row. And LA, Anaheim are going to play each other 5 times in a row in April, May. The last 4 of them in 6 nights. Like, dude, like I said before, I'm beating a drum here. How much are these fucking teams going to hate each other? I mean, 5 games in a row in non-playoff situation, and then you might play them in the playoffs too, if it pans out that way.
It's crazy. I'm sorry. And Lucas Raymond returned to the game. So anyone worried about Team Sweden, I'm not stupid. He's back. He scored. I think that we mentioned this before already about the battles in the minors when you play the teams that many times. Didn't we talk about this last episode?
We did, but the schedules hadn't officially come out. That's
okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. It's. I actually saw a good tweet. Who was it? Justin Bourne, and he mentioned that this year, like, teams are going to get into the playoffs based on the energy that you can produce, because it's one of those things where you talk about the baseball type schedule. You got 3 games in 4 nights. You're playing the same team at least 2 of those games, if not all 3. Who at the end of those games, at the end of those grinds, AHL type schedule can muster up the energy to just basically outwork teams? That's how you're going to get points at the end of these runs these teams go on. It's like outworking, because everyone's going to be exhausted. Everyone's not going to have their legs. They're going to feel different than they usually do throughout the year. When you get your time off, you get the All-Star break. Now it's going to be about who can figure it out, and just in the third period of these late games that you're exhausted and feel like shit in.
That's why I feel like Columbus is going to be a dark horse. I don't know what their odds are, and we're going to get in the gambling corner once the season starts rolling around. But
fuck yeah,
Columbus, man,
they got lucky. They got lucky getting in that division too.
They got a lot of good things going for them.
Metro.
Yeah, just talking about the Blues here. So we want to go back to them, actually. A story come over the Russian site, Sport24. Now, we want to make it known. These quotes were via Google Translate. So, take that for what it's worth. But Tarasenko was allegedly disappointed at not being named captain. He said, I think it's okay on certain leadership positions after 8 years at the club, but everyone has their own opinion. Alexei, who was Tarasenko's agent. Alexei expressed it and has every right to do so. I personally focus on recovering from injury because there are so many people who say that Tarasenko will never play the same way. I have a tremendous incentive to come back and prove these people wrong. Basically, this article is saying that Tarasenko was pissed at not being named captain. And again, it's translated from a Russian site via Google. So I think you should probably add that into the weight of what you're listening to, because it could be
like it's completely false.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, your words, not mine.
He was actually saying, like, I'm so happy O'Reilly's captain. What a choice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the complete opposite. I'll say this is if he was dead serious and he was a little bit disappointed, maybe, the way it is over there just goes based on seniority and how long you've been there and the time you've put in with that club. And maybe he felt, considering O'Reilly had just came over, that he hadn't put his time in with the organization in order to be rewarded with the C. I don't know. I feel like that organization's done a pretty good job of reading the room, and I think they know who the right guy for the job is. And it's tough to not pick the guy who essentially was your I would call him the spiritual leader in that cup run. I feel like everybody jumped on his back more than anyone else.
Yeah, no disrespect to Tarasenko's top level scorer, one of the best in the league in terms of like putting the puck in the net. I mean, he's 30 goal minimum, it seems like, every year. There isn't one GM in the league, if they had Ryan O'Reilly and Vladimir Tarasenko, that would make Tarasenko the captain. And I don't even know if the GM did it. I'm sure it was coach. I'm sure it was a bunch of different people. That is not even an argument.
I get the sense that's a locker room that speaks for itself.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's Ryan O'Reilly. This guy does it all. This guy's one of the best players in the NHL, and I think just it wasn't even a second thought, man. I think we made fun of the fact it was even news.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
we did.
So surprised.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
like I said, I think the key words here are quotes via Google Translate from a Russian sports website. So
exactly.
Tarasenko might not have, basically what he said might not have been what's implied by the quote. So, and if he is pissed, well, that's his right to be. But all right, moving right along.
Can't wait to see another practice scrap and cup for fucking St. Louis.
Hey, we obviously talk about chiclets on the show a lot, but did you know that most people still use a manual toothbrush, even though dentists recommend electric brushes because they're proven to be more effective? Why go analog when digital is available? That's why you want to get yourself a Bruche electric toothbrush. I love the just left the dentist clean feeling after I used my Bruche on my choppers, not to mention the long battery life. Also, you get 6 unique modes to customize your brushing experience. Again, the 4-week battery life, that's huge. You have a magnetic charging stand and a compact travel case. And with the subscription program, you'll never forget to change your brush head again. Bruche ships you your new replacement heads every 6 months, so you're never stuck using a worn-down brush head. And you can't beat the sleek design. Bruche's electric toothbrush has a modern, aesthetically pleasing design. It comes in trend-driven seasonal colors. Biz loves those. And it looks great on your bathroom counter, of course. And you'll get 15% off your Bruche toothbrush kit and refill plan when you use the promo code Chiclets at Bruche.com. That's 15% off when you use the promo code Chiclets, CHICLETS, at Bruche.com. That's BRUUSH.com. Definitely want to keep those chiclets clean, especially this time of year, Biz, when you're drinking a lot of vino.
That's true. Yeah,
I just got mine. It's so good.
I got to brush my cavities away with
them. There's about 15 settings on the thing. They got max. They got just the gums, and when you press just the gums, I was holding. You just press the gums. The 2 things at the end come firing out. I can't wait to get those going on my gums. So Bruche, check it out. As I already said, BRUUSH. Bruche.
And when the old lady needs to get off, there's another setting for that. This thing absolutely does it all. No, but on a serious note, so
the rabbit Bruche.
These electric toothbrushes, they get expensive. They get up there in price, especially if you're buying them at the dentist office where they're like $200. This one I think is just over $100, right? Or maybe just under $100. And the biggest part of it though is the heads, the replaceable heads, which some companies, they don't even offer them. Other ones, it's like $25 for one head. It's a 3-pack. That'll last you the full, I believe that's going to last you 6 months. You change your toothbrush every 2 months. Is that right? Every 60 days?
That's what dentists say.
New replacement heads every 6 months. Yep.
and for $20. So it's way cheaper than the leading competitors. So the motor's on, it's awesome. The warranty's great. Check them out.
It's the best I've ever seen. No question in terms of these electrical toothbrushes.
There you go.
All right. There we go. BRUUSH.com. Promo code Chiclets.
BRUINS. Oh, shit. This is
I love the guy moved fucking 20 miles out of the city, making fun of city accents over here. All right, boys, a lot of signings since the last episode, so we're going to run through them here. Montreal signed a pair of veterans, Corey Perry and Michael Frolik, to one-year deals worth $750,000 apiece. Hey, look, last year, Corey Perry had 5 goals during the regular season. Everyone's saying he's all done, blah, blah, blah. Guy was a monster in the playoffs, scored 5 more goals in the playoffs, tremendous leadership, got his nose in dirty everywhere. And you got to think, man, if the Canadians can snag a playoff spot, who else would you rather have come playoff time than a guy like the Worm, Wet Dog, eh?
McDavid.
I mean, I'm talking for a fucking $750,000 signing.
GM of the year, Whit. There he is. He's buzzing.
Oh, yeah. I love the signing. And I read right away that Toronto really kind of was looking at Perry. They ended up with Wayne Simmons, and look at the. I'm sorry, Montreal. Excuse me, Montreal was looking and wanted Wayne Simmons. He goes to Toronto. They end up getting Perry for way less money. So I think that if you look at his regular season, you might say, I don't know, is he done? But he's a playoff type player. He's always been able to kind of elevate his play once the springtime comes. Now, before in the regular season, he's winning MVP, scoring 40, 50. He was no doubt dominant player. Now it's different, but just getting to the playoffs. I don't know how much he'll do to help you get in, but once you're there, look out. That team, I don't know. I don't expect much from them. I know that they've made some severe changes and it's been discussed on what needs to happen, but I don't know, like looking at that division in the league as a whole, I don't think the Canadians have a chance of winning the Stanley Cup.
I think Bergervan there wanted to beef up a little bit. He's got a big back end. They got the goaltending. They picked up Josh Anderson, which is he going to be ready to go for regular season? I know he got shoulder surgery, but as far as forwards, they were fairly small coming into this season, and they've beefed up a little bit. With especially with him in the bottom 6. So I don't mind the move. And I think if the goaltending in the back end turns out in the 56 game schedule, I could see them being a team that squeaks in.
Yeah, that's the whole thing here, business. Like hot starts. If a team is slow getting out of the gate, it could cripple their whole fucking season. So, all right, we got a bunch of other signs I'm gonna roll through. So you boys want to chime in? Give me a cue here. Goaltender Ryan Miller. He's gonna be back with Anaheim for a 4th season in his 18th NHL season. The 40-year-old agreed to a 1-year deal worth $1 million. He'll spell John Gibson when needed. New Jersey signed restricted free agent goalie Mackenzie Blackwood, 3-year, $8.4 million deal. Comes out to $2.8 million cap hit. Our friend Kevin Weeks had the scoop on that one. The 24-year-old was New Jersey's second-round pick back in 2015. He just finished his ELC as well. This is his 3rd NHL season. I'll tell you, man, for a team who hasn't been that great, I mean, 70 games played, he's 32, 24-8 with a 2.72 and 9.16, 5 shutouts. Those are pretty respectable numbers for a team that hasn't been in the playoffs and has struggled to score. So the future looks good for that kid. Another unrestricted free agent, people are wondering, Mikael Granlund, he's going to stay put in Nashville. Like I wrote in my blog, Biz, everybody who goes to Nashville loves it there, whether you're a hockey player or down for a bachelorette party. 1-year, $3.75 million deal. He'll be 29 in February, had 17 goals last year. Nashville also added unrestricted free agent forward Eric Haller, signing him to a 1-year, $1.75 million deal. The 29-year-old finished last season with Florida after being dealt in the Vinny Trocheck deal. Had 12 goals, 12 assists in 48 games played. The LA Kings signed Andreas Athanasiou to a 1-year, $1.2 million deal, 26 points in 55 games last year, split between Detroit and Edmonton.
That's a guy who I think I expected a lot more when he got to Edmonton. I thought he'd gel with how fast he is, and there's been tons of questions about maybe his hockey IQ, because in terms of having all the tools when he's on, it's crazy, game breaker. So that could end up being that could be a really good signing. I mean, you look at last year. Why am I fucking drawing a blank right now? Who was with Ottawa? What the hell's wrong with me?
Anthony Duclair, who signed.
Yeah, I mean, Florida. Right? I mean, it was a little different where he'd been really kind of suitcasing around, but if Anthony Athanasiou can find his game and figure out a way to be successful, like consistently, it'd be an awesome value deal for them.
Yeah, you're always hoping that he's going to be the one to pop off. Like he's the name that you're like, man, I've been hearing so much about him. Like in Detroit, we thought he was going to be ready to take the next step. And I thought the Anthony Duclair comparison was perfect. And we talked about him last episode getting the $1.7 million in Florida, didn't we?
We did, yes.
Oh, okay. So we already mentioned it. And you touched on Ryan Miller. I feel like he's like the Vince Carter of the NHL. He just keeps getting deals. I would say he's probably one of the highest grossing goaltenders of all time. Right? Would that be a fair? He's probably made over 75 million.
Yeah, I could pull that up on Cap Friendly to give it a look.
What's your guess, Whit, as far as millions?
Ryan Miller's career
I'm going to
guess
65.
I'm going to say 68. Actually, I'm going to change it up.
Ooh, I thought for sure you would have went 69.
I think you guys are right around there, but it could end up being maybe 70.
Career earnings, estimated career earnings per Cap Friendly, 61,310,000.
Still a really good fucking career. Holy shit.
Oh,
yeah, that'll do.
Absolutely.
You can have some fun post playing career when you cash in 61. Unless you're an NBA or blow it all.
Moving right along, local boy Connor Sherry, he signed a 1-year deal at Washington for $735,000. Undrafted 28-year-old UMass product. He, of course, won 2 cups with Pittsburgh. He got traded to Buffalo back in 2018, then dealt back to Pittsburgh this past February. He's in Washington, as well as former Ottawa goalie Craig Anderson. He signed a PTO, a traditional PTO, I should say, with the Capitals. He spent his last 10 seasons with Ottawa. He's obviously Henrik Lundqvist, who, well, we'll mention that while we're here. He tweeted out on Monday that he was going to be getting open heart surgery for the medical issue he's dealing with. And I know, guys, when you used to hear 40 years ago open heart surgery, it was like a huge deal. And not to minimize it, but heart surgery has come along so far in the last like 20, 30 years. It's almost like a routine thing. Now, obviously, if you're getting it done, it's not routine. I think Henrik's in good hands here. Obviously, it's a major surgery, but at the same time, the technology in heart surgery has been absolutely incredible the last few years. So we want to wish Henrik the best. Obviously, he's a friend of the program. We love the guy, and I think everything's going to be fine for him. And ideally, we'll see him back in the league next year.
Like you're saying, they used to have to like cut open your chest where there'd be like 2-3 inches.
Well, they still do, but it's just that. Literally like 40 years ago, if someone was going for heart surgery, it was like, do the fucking rosary and sit around and be scared. But now it's like the technology and the medical advancements are so good that, not that you minimize it, but if you hear someone's going in for heart surgery as compared to say maybe cancer, you're like, oh, okay, well, there's not a lot of situations where people come out and have difficulties because the medical technology has been unreal. And I'm sure they'll take good
care. If you actually think about surgery where they cutting open somebody's heart, like, and that like happens daily and works, it's like when you're sitting in an airplane, you're like, how am I flying right now?
Yeah.
I'm not even high either. If you actually think about that shit, are you kidding me?
Yeah, exactly, man. It used to be
brain surgery.
It's still a big deal, but it used to be like, a little more iffy, I guess, is probably a good way to put it. Whereas nowadays, if someone in your family's got to go in for a heart treatment, a heart procedure, it's like, not to say it's not a big deal, but it's certainly not the big deal it was 40 years ago. Yeah. So, all right, moving along.
What did you say before the Henrik Lundqvist thing?
About Craig Anderson going on a PTO because that's where
you know what I was gonna say is, holy man, does Washington love Pittsburgh sloppy seconds or what? Is that rude to say?
No,
I feel like any guy they don't sign, Washington picks up. They just love it.
Well, Pittsburgh used to put the smackdown on him. Like, all right, let's try. If you can't beat him, join him type thing. But it is weird how often that happens.
That's me being a Penguins jock sniffer, and I'm sure I'm going to hear it.
So am I. I'm a Penguins jock.
You guys ought to be.
Don't be poopy pants because you guys are picking up the sloppy seconds, all right?
All right, a couple more here. Restricted free agent Casey Middlestad, another friend of the program. He signed with Buffalo, a 1-year deal worth $875,000. He's still just a 22-year-old kid. He split last season between Buffalo and Rochester. While with the Sabres, he had 4 goals, 5 assists in 31 games played. In 117 games, he's got 17 goals, 22 assists. Let's see.
That's a guy that if Buffalo wants to take the next step,
let's go, baby.
You have this high pick. You have a high pick that I think tons of potentials there. It's like, all right, well, time to get this thing going. When hits like that, when picks like that don't hit, that's why you end up being in the basement.
The Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll make this argument though. In Buffalo, I feel like it's so rushed and the microscope is so big because they're just praying that the next prospect is going to like pop off to be a top player in the league. When guys, that's not necessarily the case. Like if you get a first round draft pick, the guy might end up being like a solid top 6 player. So definitely one guy though I'll be keeping an eye on this season, and I hope he lives up to the expectations that were at the beginning of last year.
Yeah, no doubt. We're rooting for him. Like I said, he's still only 22, man. Some guys take a little bit longer.
Man.
So.
It's just, yeah, you're right.
All right, moving right along. Unrestricted free agent Carl Soderberg signed with the Blackhawks, a 1-year deal worth $1 million. The 35-year-old Swede had 17 goals, 18 assists, and 70 games with Arizona last year. Biz, how much game has this guy got left? He's been around. He's been a pretty steady performer.
He's solid. Good net front presence. He'd be good for, they're probably second unit power play. Who knows? Maybe on the first, because those other guys are just buzzing around. But I think he's a solid player with a lot of game left. He was great coming over for Colorado, and he was, I think, up until one point, the leading scorer for the Coyotes in the regular season. He might even finish the leading scorer for the Coyotes in the regular season. What are you laughing? What are you laughing at? G, look it up.
Nice radio guy right there.
And one last
just home games.
One last unrestricted signing.
Well, I'm saying he might not know the stats. Fuck.
Well, look it up.
I'm trying to back him up here. I was actually trying to defend my boy.
G's going to look it up. He's the producer and stat guy now.
All right. One more unrestricted free agent, defenseman Slater Koek signed with Edmonton. 26-year-old had a goal and 9 assists in 42 games played with Chicago last year. That's the last of the unrestricteds I have here. A couple other notes. After returning to the NHL for 2 seasons, Ilya Kovalchuk went back to Russia. The 37-year-old signed a 2-year deal with AVALANCHE Omsk. Is that how I say that, Whit?
Yeah, that's pretty good, actually.
Thank you. He split last season between L.A., Montreal, and Washington. And Biz, we got to give credit to the Bergevin here. He signed him in January. He put up 6 goals and 7 assists in 22 games played. Then Bergevin flipped him to Washington for a 3rd rounder in 2020. And then Montreal used that 3rd rounder to bring in Jake Allen for a little backup for Price. So that's why sometimes moves like, what's this guy doing? It's like, well, I'm going to add an asset here and hopefully he'll do good and we can turn him into something. And that's what the Bergevin did.
I love the Bergevin. He's just cranking weights right now. 2-a-days. Getting a needle shoved in his ass. He's on the Russian gas. He's probably got Markov flying the stuff over.
Jaromir Jagr, who is 2 months older than me, the old guy in the podcast, he's still at it. He's playing at 48 years old in the Czech Republic for his hometown Kladno. He's got 24 NHL seasons, 4 in the KHL, 9 in the Czech League, 154 international games. I mean, it's Jagr, man. It's like this guy. I think he'll play at least 60 if teams keep signing him. No, Biz?
I think he'll play until he can't get a contract. Really?
Yeah.
Like in any, maybe not in any league, but
he'll be in the EIHL when he's 75.
playing for Nottingham.
Yeah. I'm in Cardiff. I'm going to revive my career, go back at him. But we're going to be like
he gets you 10 goals.
Remember the video of the 2 former CFL guys coming out of, I think TSN aired it originally, but they must have had like an old rivalry, but they're like fighting with the canes on stage. That's going to be us in the corner battling for pucks with the fucking our those four peg strollers.
Oh, with the tennis balls on the bottom.
Yeah. Like the guy from Family Guy, the old guy. How do you talk like him? The old guy from Family Guy.
Oh, the pedophile.
No, there was the pedophile and the old guy. I can't do him right now.
Yeah, no.
It's the same guy, right? Wasn't
I wish you could. It would have been a lot funnier.
No. Yeah.
Throwing a Simpsons voice.
Memes will do it.
Hey, son. Where you going, son?
Hey, that's my puck.
Yeah, that's it. But it's a fine line between the old guy and the pedophile on Family Guy. Good call.
I meshed them 2 and 1 there.
All right. Hey, we got to send congrats to longtime defenseman Derek Engelland. He retired after 11 NHL seasons and 17 pro seasons, the last 3 with his hometown Vegas Golden Knights. The 38-year-old is going to work with the Vegas Golden Knights Foundation afterwards, including playoffs. He played over 700 NHL games. 127 points in 671 regular season games. The team actually did ask him if he wanted to be moved at the last deadline, but he was, he hadn't been part of the regular lineup, but he opted to stay put. Like I said, Vegas is home to him. He played in Vegas his first year as a pro way back in 03-04 when they were still in the East Coast. I'm sorry, in the East Coast League, their affiliate then. He won the 2018 Mark Messier Trophy for leadership. And Biz, I know you played with him for about 3 years in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton.
I think Witt might have crossed paths with him too, but if not, an unbelievable guy. And 1 game. Okay.
Well,
okay. No, yeah. Fair enough. So similar to Scuds, whereas this guy was, I don't know if Scuds ever played in the Coast though, but he was playing in the Coast, ended up making it to the American League, and just one of those guys that like coaches love. He shows up every day, you know exactly what you're getting. He works his bag off. He gets his workouts in. He doesn't say boo shit. He would step up and fight whenever he had to, and he was tough, man. In the American League early on, I think he was doing it a lot more. And as his career went on, he was just that kind of solid top 4 defenseman who played physical. Maybe towards the end, he became a 5 or 6 guy, but unbelievable teammate. He turned his career from what I thought was going to be a career AHLer to an unbelievable 700 NHL game career. And I couldn't be happier for the guy, and a great teammate.
And we always talk about, we have talked about Sean Thornton. He had 600 AHL games over 600 NHL, which is, to think about that long of a grind in the AHL before you even get to the show. England had 490 regular season East Coast League and AHL games. I mean, that's 6 full years of just like sticking with it, like you said, and being just tough to play against. That's I think that if you look back, if you were to ask him, I'd be curious. I'd love to interview him maybe at some point this year. But if we could ask him, like, what do you think? What do you think had made it so you could last that long? It's probably being a great locker room guy and just being so hard to play against. Like, that's a consistent thing for him. You never want to be on the ice against him.
He'd fight anyone too. He didn't give a shit. I've actually fought him when I was with the Coyotes. I asked him for one. Well, I survived. I was happy. So congrats, Ego. We'll get you on the pod. We're actually going to head to Vegas at some point, so we'll get him live for a sit
Absolutely. Down. I think the 18 Messier Trophy, that's a feather in a cap. Usually a guy's like that, a more name guys. No disrespect to Derek. He wasn't, a Conn Smythe or a fucking Norris Trophy candidate, but the fact that they recognize what he did in Vegas that first year,
and I also was nice. We should mention, I think one of the most memorable moments of his career is when he gave that speech after the shooting.
Unbelievable.
And that season took off, and what Vegas did, and he was a Vegas resident who played in the Coast there, and was like, oh my God, I'll never forget. It was, unfortunately, Roberto Luongo had to do the same type thing for a school shooting, I remember, in Florida. But just those moments, those guys are kind of really helping people and doing a great job describing what's going on.
Well said, he actually met his wife when he was playing there in the East Coast, and that's what brought him back. So he's a hometown kid, and where you nailed it, man. When he gave that speech, they were playing against the Coyotes that night. Yeah, and I was in the building, he got up there, and after he was done talking, I'm like, holy shit, dude! He just like had an out of body experience. He fucking nailed that thing.
Absolutely. Well, boys, we're going to mention New Year's Eve is here this week. You want to stay ready for the festivities and say goodbye to 2020 with DHM Detox. We're all ready for this year to be over, so let's bounce back and start 2021 on the right foot the next morning with your trusted drinking buddy. No, not Wit, not Biz. DHM Detox. It's the ultimate vitamin for people who like to enjoy a few drinks. It's the smart, responsible way to celebrate. DHM Detox is a blend of natural ingredients, antioxidants, and vitamins that are designed to help fight off the toxins while you're drinking. Say goodbye to rough next mornings and get back to feeling good the next day. No Days Wasted is here to help you maximize all of life's moments. Biz, you live and die by this stuff. Elaborate for us.
I took it all across the holidays. I wake up the next day feeling great. They even have this hydration replenisher now. So they have 2 products now. Guys, it's scientifically backed. It's an extract from a Chinese plant. It breaks down the toxins of the alcohol while you're drinking. And I love it. I double up on it. I gave it to a bunch of friends when I went to weddings before. I'll get texts the next day. Hey, what was that? I'm not feeling as shitty as I normally do. And as somebody who, when I do drink, I drink a lot. I'm getting older, guys. I feel the effects of it if I don't take this stuff.
Wait till my age.
I went from 20 being able to jump right up, no problems, to now. So check it out. DHM Detox.
And it's super simple, Biz. You take 2 capsules after your first few drinks and it goes to work. If you're going to be having a few more, you double up. DHM Detox is part of our drinking routine as well as tens of thousands of other people. The packets are easy to share with friends and family this holiday season, and they make for a great stocking stuffer or post-stocking stuffer gift, as you were. They just launched, like you said, Biz holiday bundles with their new hydration replenisher, an electrolyte drink mix that helps you hydrate and helps boost your immune system with vitamin C, D, and zinc. DHM Detox is a 100% risk-free purchase on your first box. So if you don't love it, they refund you. It's a no-brainer. At the very least, give it a shot. If you don't like it, you get your money back. It's simple. We're going to hit you guys with a promo code. Just head over to nodayswasted.co and use the promo code BIZ20 for 20% off. That's nodayswasted.co for no days wasted after drinking with BIZ20.
Do like I do. Take 9 packs and then send back the box. And then you just get sign up for new credit cards and
get my money back. Yeah. So
what are you shaking your head for, G? You have to take that out. DHM going to be pissed.
That is a you
shut
move.
up. I wouldn't
that is
do
a
that.
you move.
I'd take about 4 or 5 out of that, though.
He's got a good working relationship with them. So,
yeah.
All right, moving right along. We got some great news for the ladies who play the game. The Isobel Cup is going to air on NBCSN. It's going to be the first time that women's pro hockey will air live on a major U.S. cable network. That's huge news. I mean, we've obviously seen the Olympics over the years, but to have women's pro hockey on NBCSN is great, especially our friend Kelly Babstock. Proud to say I coached her up at
come on. Really? You're going to say that? You're going to tell?
Absolutely, guy. I mean, she's going to be playing for the Isobel Cup. I coached her up at Lake Winnipesaukee and Muskoka. It was a true honor. She's the honey badger, man.
Yes, she is. What did you tell her to do? How did you coach her? In what way?
I told her, honestly, I said, Kelly, honestly, I'm not even bullshitting. I said, just keep doing what you're doing. I said, because, you're fucking forcing these guys to play better.
Oh, you're taking this serious?
No, yeah. She was, I legit, because, like, those guys, like, I mean, she's obviously a pro hockey player, but she was the biggest bulldog on that team. And I was like, just do what you do, and these guys are going to follow you. And that's what happened.
I'm going to get RA a job on the coast, see what he can really do. Let's get this going.
All right, well, another note.
Making you look good.
The single elimination Isobel Cup series, Iso Cup semifinals are going to be shown live Thursday, February 1st at 5:30 p.m. and then 8 p.m. The winners of the semifinals will advance to the final on Friday, February 5th at 7 p.m. In addition to NBCSN, the live coverage will also stream exclusively on NBCSports.com and the NBC Sports app. So by all means, check these ladies out. The ladies' game has gotten so good in the last 25, 30 years. It's great hockey.
I don't know if the schedule is going to align, but we should do like a live streaming of watching a few games. I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea to gamble on them too. That'd be a blast. No. So maybe we can get our fan base. Definitely, Whit. Definitely. Prop bets. We'll get it going. So congratulations to the ladies. Well deserved.
Absolutely. All right, let's scroll along. A few more notes here. Yotes. The Yotes fans, Biz, they're going to be allowed in the building in a limited capacity to watch games. They haven't put a number on it yet, but I'll let Whit make the fucking obvious joke about crowd.
No. None of that. Grinelli, if they say anything, we're cutting it out.
He's got the look after he got shot clocked by Jans.
Maybe when you guys are here, because we told everybody, I don't know if for some of you people who didn't listen to the last podcast, we will be starting the season in Scottsdale, Arizona. We will be here.
We'll all be together.
We're going to be all together. We're going to watch. We're going to do some live streams. We're going to do some sandbaggers. We're going to get some live interviews with some local guys. And we're going to have some fun to kick off the year, guys. That's going to be a great first couple days. I think on the Thursday, there's probably 8 to 10 games on tap. So we'll be doing a couple streams. We're pumped. And speaking of Coyotes fans, some of the most loyal out there.
They want to see that New Jersey in action.
Yeah, they do.
The mescaline mutt. I love that shirt. All right, a couple other notes here. Stevie Y said the Red Wings plan to name a captain, but they haven't determined how they're going to announce it yet. I would be shocked if it's anybody other than Dylan Larkin who gets the C for this squad. So
I agree.
We'll keep an eye on that. There's been an offside rule update. A player's skate will not have to be in contact with the blue line in order to be on side. I know that's been I don't know if it's a bone of contention, but all these goals where a guy's hovering over the blue line, but he's not touching it, so it would result in a non-goal. So they're giving a little further clarification on that rule. So, yeah, I think if it's obvious a guy's skate is hovering over the line, is he fucking offsides? No. I mean, he's not touching it, but what else here?
I like the rule change. More offense. Why are we killing the offense here? Goalies are hard enough to score on nowadays.
And I'm still bitter about when I had PK Subban to score the first goal of the Stanley Cup 5 years ago at 50-1, and they fucking overruled me. I'm still bitter about
How much did you lose? How much would you have won?
I would have won. It was either three or $4 grand, maybe $5 grand. I don't know if I could pull it up. Yeah. And he scored. It was like, it counted. I was screaming, and then like they fucking took it down. And the worst part, it was like, I couldn't understand because if it was conclusive, but they never gave a conclusive replay afterwards. So yeah, whatever. Say la vie.
So RA had the ref shot. That was it.
Yeah,
called his buddies.
His name anymore. Mark Messier, he filed a lawsuit over a weed company, Biz, saying that he lost $500,000 in an investment in Destiny Bioscience. He alleges the company used his celebrity to raise $30 million in funding. Said he was given a personal guarantee he would not lose any money. Does he need to team up with another Hall of Famer to maybe rectify the situation, Biz, or what?
Who? Stevie Y? Stevie Bong Rips? Not the ones that I'm affiliated with. Fucking the weed industry is popping right now, man. It's going crazy, especially in the United States. Canada, it's a little bit difficult because of the restrictions, and they need to figure it the fuck out because it's embarrassing. And because I like smoking dope. I want to kind of get a little thing going in Canada. Seth Rogen tried to, and they cock blocked him. So now,
really,
yeah. So the loophole is, and I think him and Snoop are the only names that are somewhat associated to anything in cannabis relation north of the border, but they do it to where it's their company. They talk about it in interviews, but they can't promote it. Seth Rogen doesn't even follow his account. So it's kind of this odd structure, and there's no branding allowed in Canada. So it looks like a medicine bottle because they deem it as medicine. That's how it all got legalized. But
remember how hard it was to get Pink Whitney in? Imagine how hard it is to get weed going there.
Yeah, so I mean, ask RA. He probably has it figured out.
No, he just drives over the border with pounds taped to his car.
Yeah. So I don't even know what brought us to that. Oh, because Messier ended up filing a lawsuit.
Sucks.
So that sucks.
I mean, they raised $30 million in funding. I mean, he's basically saying, I put some dough and they told me I wouldn't lose any, and now I'm fucking suing you.
I think Messier probably knows, if you're investing in a company, there's risk involved. And unless somebody could promise you that you won't lose any money, but unless it's in writing, it's like there's always some sort of risk when you get involved.
Let's get him on to talk about it. I'd love to hear.
Yeah, hey Mess, I don't want to talk about your 17 cups. Let's talk about your $500,000 you lost on that weed company.
I got more in common with him on that side of it than I do the hockey ability, for crying out loud. Right? All right. Me and you are in the same boat with that, so you should be joining my squad.
Definitely in the same boat as far as weed smoking. I would fucking imagine at this point. Unfortunately, Mark Messier might not be the only NHLer or former NHLer to get fucked on a money level. According to Andrew Zadanowski at A Zadowski, Alexander Radulov has been defrauded around 1.5 billion rubles, which comes out to about 20 million USD, by a Russian bank who lost its license but kept accepting deposits from Radulov. It was some Russian site. Again, I can't vouch for the veracity of it. Sergei Tashkov, a lawyer for the Stars forward. I'm sorry, I said striker like he's a soccer player. A lawyer for the Stars forward in the Russian national team. Radulov said the hockey player was deceived by the bank to which he transferred his salary. The quote here, Sasha is coming to Russia this year. While the quarantine is in place, we are trying to understand the documents and understand this is a banal deception. We tried to somehow resolve the issue to meet these people pre-trial in the world order. They began to run away from us. These are like fucking crazy fucking science fiction.
You run, but you can't hide if Radulov the Warthog is coming after you.
Yeah,
the first athlete will announce his problem. Others will follow him, but we have the biggest contribution. Radulov invested about 1.5 billion rubles, which is only 20 mil. So I don't know, man. I guess when you got American banks,
imagine waking up with knowing you had 20 fucking sheets, Gonzos. How would you feel?
Swan dive off the roof of my house. I couldn't pay for the house anymore. I might as well jump off of it.
Dude, I had one of those like waist belts with like loaded with $100 bills when he flew home from Russia. No way was he putting his money in a bank over there.
I was in an Italian bank that was in Russia, I think. The crazy thing is, I mean, if it could happen to a Russian, imagine some of these imports that are over there. It is so nerve-wracking to really not know if it's for sure going to be going down the way they say it will.
Yeah, and it said, according to his lawyer, the unnamed bank deceived not only Radulov, but also several other athletes. It's reported that Radulov is in Moscow. He will not comment further on the situation, which is certainly understandable. And you get fucked out of $20 million, allegedly. So, tough week for a couple of current.
Sounds like the
players.
time one of those ads popped up on my screen and I signed in and then gave it my credit card. You know when the guys call you on the phone, they're like, we're going to take this bug off your. It was similar to that situation too. Fuck.
Oh, shit. Biz, I know you had one other thing. Or maybe David Dobrik. I know you had that written down in our list of topics.
This is one of the biggest YouTube stars on the planet. Not the biggest. And he's been handing out gifts like MacBook Pros, and that's what he constantly does. He's a great guy. And
he gives out cars, dude. He gives out like Lamborghinis, Ferraris. Like he gives out like some big boy gifts.
Oh, damn. I would have took an iPod for crying out loud. Fucking a Lambos, Teslas, fucking the whole kit caboodle. But there's been a large number of people he's posted that have been wearing Chiclets gear.
I think it's just his best friend from home. I think his best friend from home named Mike is just a big Chiclets fan, always wearing Chiclets gear. So, Mike, if you're listening, reach out. We'll DM you. We'll get you some merch, and you can wear it more, David Dobrik.
I'll trade you an NBD toque for a Lamborghini. Make sure I win the next raffle.
Yeah. My buddy gave me a Lamborghini once, and then got pinched 2 hours later for a hot box. Biz.
Wait, what?
No, I said my buddy gave me a Lamborghini once, but then he got pinched for a hot box 2 hours later.
I didn't hear the beginning. I just heard getting pinched for hotboxing.
No, Biz, back in the day, well, probably still, Charlestown used to lead the league in stolen cars for a long time. Like basically, in order to insure your car in Charlestown 30 years ago, it was like way higher than any other city in the state. Here's my surprise face.
I've watched a bank robbing movie about your neighborhood. I'm like the cars is that's like stealing a pack of Pogs.
Oh, by the way, I happen to be watching that with my old lady, in the last week, and I just took a picture when I was in it. Dude, that fucking tweet got mad heat after you guys retweeted it, Grinelli. There was like fucking a shitload of faves. Not that I fucking keep score.
Which one? For the Blake
just
Lively?
The random picture. The one with Blake Lively with my fat fucking face in the background with the white.
They're probably just liking it because she's a rocket.
No, it was me. You couldn't fucking see me playing this day.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Biz, I know we talked about the movie earlier. You brought The Midnight Sky with George Clooney up. I mentioned Wonder Woman 84 stunk. I watched a documentary on Hulu called The Painter and the Thief. Wow. What a fucking movie, man. It's not for everybody. And the first 5 minutes of the movie is that a woman has 2 paintings stolen from her art studio by this like drunk guy out in a bender. And she, after trial, she goes to him and says, hey, why? Like she basically befriends him and says, why did you do this? And then they go off in this kind of, not really adventure, but this like kind of friendship over the next couple of years. And it's one of those movies you just like, holy fuck, man, what am I watching? And in the end, it was like a jaw drop. Like the last scene, it was like, holy fuck. I don't want to even say too much more about it. And again, it might not be for everybody. I watched it and I was kind of like flabbergasted when I saw it in a good way. It was just a stunning documentary. Like this woman, like, wanted to befriend the guy who stole her artwork. And then they kind of have this sort of relationship, not in a sexual way, a friendship relationship after. It was just a very a different kind of doc. I want to recommend that. And again, once again, I watched Ted Lasso yet again. Have you guys watched this yet? How many?
No, but everybody's harping about it because it has to do with soccer, in which we're on the soccer bandwagon.
Right, but honestly, you don't have to know fucking anything about soccer to watch it because I don't. I put it on Apple TV. and I've watched it 2 or 3 times already. It's such a great show. I know I've been singing its praises for
You've
a
been
long time
stroking the show off like crazy.
But if you see the replies I get, like if everybody loves it.
Yeah.
And I watched it again over the weekend, my old lady, and we're like, this show, like it's so rare now, Biz, for a fucking TV show to make you feel the things this show makes you feel. You're in a good mood. You like, it's an emotional roller coaster. And after the season, I mean, I get fucking tears in my eyes from Jason Sudeikis, the guy on Saturday Night Live who used to dance the Running Man. He's so good on this show, man. It's a show about just being a decent person that makes you feel good. So I can't recommend it enough.
Okay. I got a documentary now, soccer documentary. And I actually will say, I don't even think you need to be a soccer fan to enjoy it. It's called The Class of 92. And it's about 6 kids that, one of them's David Beckham, well, kids and men. They grew up playing soccer together. Not necessarily. They did not grow up playing soccer together, but they were young enough. No, but they were young. They grew up together, like on Manchester United, right? And they became one of the greatest teams ever in England. And these kids were all young. They were all young, lighting it up, like international stars. And I just thought it was unreal. I think it's on Amazon Prime, but I would say if you're just a fan of sports in general, you'll enjoy this Class of 92.
And I think if it's a good doc, the category or the whatever it's about doesn't matter. If a documentary is that good, you don't give a shit what it's about.
Yeah, but if it's about, I guess that would be a good argument, because I'd say some topic about science I really, really don't care about. But if it's that good, you're saying I might care. They get you to care about it, right?
I mean, like, have you ever watched The King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters?
No.
Okay, it's a documentary about 2 guys battling for the high score all time in Donkey Kong.
Okay, so I would like that because I'm a gamer.
I've seen that.
And it's good? One of the greatest documentaries I've ever seen.
No, maybe I watched the Pac-Man one.
Waka, 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 waka.
Maybe there's there's more video game ones.
King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters. It's about like a Donkey Kong high score. I saw it at Kendall Square in Cambridge years ago, and it's like, what the fuck is this movie? And you watch it, and it's crazy that a documentary about such a crazy topic sucks you in so good. There's a good guy, a bad guy, and a well-constructed documentary, man. If it's done well, it don't matter what it's about. It'll suck you in either way.
All right.
Did the guy beat the game in his living room at one point?
I'm not spoiling anything, Biz.
Fuck yeah, I can't spoil. Oh geez, that's how stupid I am. I didn't even realize I said a spoiler.
Did he just spoil it?
No.
We're gonna beep it out. Whatever I said.
No, he didn't spoil anything. But
I was gonna mention
spoiled the other one about Pac-Man.
Waka, 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 waka.
What does waka waka mean?
Remember Pac-Man? Waka, waka, waka. When Pac-Man used to eat waka, 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 waka. That was like the sound he made. Pac-Man fever. There was a song, dude. Pac-Man was fucking huge back in the day.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
There was a song for it.
I bought the arcade size one. I have the arcade Pac-Man.
Do you really?
Yeah.
In your house?
Yeah. And I have and is it Galaga?
Galaga? Do you have to put quarters in it?
I have no, of course not.
Oh, I don't know.
And I just pump. I had a big sign that you could only press, like, you couldn't press return to try to break the high score because people, you know what I mean? We don't have to pay for quarters. You can just keep going.
Yeah.
We interviewed Pasternak. I did this EA, the whole rollout. I did what did we end up naming it, Grinelli? It was kind of the award show on wheels, so to speak. The content piece is going to come out, but we had to interview Pasternak for one of it, and he had that deer hunter or buck hunter.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's one of the ones he's got in his house.
Golden tee would be ideal to have.
Golden tee would probably be the next big one, but I think I'd prefer that buck hunter over golden tee.
But see, and back then, like my generation, the video games, you couldn't beat them. You just kept playing and playing and playing. Like you didn't win like at a certain point. Like
exactly. You're right.
Yeah, because I'll give a shout out to my old man's buddy Mike Murphy. He was the Pac-Man legend at the Knights of Columbus. 996,000. I'll never forget it. And he ate the key. Remember Pac-Man would go to the middle and eat the like whatever bonus fruit was.
Yeah.
When you got to a certain level, there's a key, and it was 5,000 points. He had 996,000 and he ate the key, which should have put him over to 1 million. And the score just froze. And we were all like, oh, this is like 1982 at the Knights of Columbus. Like, because no one broke 100,000, let alone almost 1 million. And he should have broke 1 million. And like the fucking screen froze or something. It was like,
they didn't make the game to go that high.
Yeah.
Okay.
Broke the game.
Too good.
The only thing I'm going to say about that documentary that I watched on video games was that became a problem at one point because these things it was common that they would freeze. So are we talking about the same one?
No, you gotta go. No, I'm not even being a dick.
Right.
But no, it's King of Kong is a different doc. But I'm curious.
I sound
what
like
you're
a fucking
talking about,
asshole right now.
No, you don't. No, there's lots of video game docs. Buddy.
No, you.
But King of Kong, by all means, check it out if you haven't.
I'm gonna find the other one I'm talking about. Anyway, we've gone long enough. What else do we got here?
I that's all I got. Unless you boys have anything that I haven't unearthed in the last hour or so. If you have any
Barstool Fund, donate to small businesses.
Yeah, Barstool Fund. I got two things. Barstool Fund was one, and I think that people will occasionally, they're like, "Oh, I don't have." Who are you to tell somebody to give money, right? But if you think $5 won't make a difference, I promise you're wrong. Because if enough people do that, it's like it's just adding on. And I have a really close personal friend, restaurant owner I've brought up before. I know a lot of people in the industry, as everyone does. I think 1 in 5 Americans work in the restaurant industry. Is that a true stat?
My family's bar. You got my family's bar too.
Exactly. So when you can do something like this to help, let's keep this thing going. It's over 8 million now. I think they can raise 30 million. I mean, it's only 8, 9, 10 days old. So it's been amazing work. Portnoy started, that guy Lamonis, I believe, called him out. And I just think it's amazing to see these videos of him calling small business owners and then almost immediately getting emotional. It's life-changing. It's people who have put their whole lives, their blood, sweat, and tears into years and years of building a business. That's the greatest thing about the United States. You can come and you can just build a business if you're smart enough, if you work hard enough. And these people are just, their lives are being ruined. And so like every little business that's saved is such a game changer. And I think it's a great thing going on right now. So
well, not only that too, it's like the effort that he's had to put in over the break in order to make it all work. And you could see when he's on these calls, he's like swatting away other calls coming in. Like he has been working the lines nonstop. And as you said, one of the businesses that got saved was actually in Wilkes-Barre, and it was Choco's Bowling Alley.
I remember, I saw her. I remember that.
I used to go to Choco's Bowling Alley.
Yep, same here. And I was like, oh my God, I recognized it right away. It was a great video. I saw a mashed up one, but yeah, just an amazing thing going on. And the saddest thing about the Barstool Fund is there'll be hundreds of thousands of restaurants that still won't get help. And it's like you can never do enough right now. And I feel so bad for people who haven't done anything wrong. They've done it all right, actually, to get where they've gotten. Right. It's being taken away. It's like, it's not like a bad decision. It's just shitty fucking luck.
And it's great. It's great as what Dave and Barstool has done. It's kind of pathetic that, our company's done more than the government has for small businesses.
Oh, it's beyond pathetic.
I
think Dave said if no one else is doing it.
Yeah.
It's just so embarrassing.
It is. It's embarrassing on so many levels that, again, it's great Dave's doing it. I hate every
politician. I swear to God, I hate them. I think they're the biggest scumbags. They only care about themselves. None of these people have lost a dollar. No state workers have been laid off. It's an absolute disgrace, these people. They fucking talk out of one side of their mouth. They do the other. This whole pandemic has taught me that politicians are full of shit. Because in the reality of all things, being a politician is somewhat of a cushy job until all of a sudden something like this happens and you actually have to do work, and none of them have done anything.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Like, frankly, the fact
really
that
is.
They've given citizens $1,200 in the last fucking year, and meanwhile, these loans that are never going to get paid back, tax cuts for fucking the loaded. It's a fucking embarrassment. But again, kudos to Dave, kudos to Barstool for stepping up and taking care of these businesses. Unfortunately, we can't do them all. And I work for small businesses. I work my uncle's video store, my uncle's grocery store. So, I mean, it wasn't my heart and soul, but I understand the mentality and the effort it takes to work at these places. So,
and
again,
of course, all the people who donated, of course, thank you guys.
Absolutely.
We have one of our supporters. I think his name's Wealth Theory online. He's following the stocks. He threw in 10 grand. So there's been a lot of people to really step up and make a difference. So we thank you, Chiclets fans, for doing so. And I think that's a very positive way to end it.
Yeah, one more thing I wanted to mention is so as we're trying to do more sandbaggers and we want to get, continue doing them. Now, they're not easy and they're a big production, but we're kind of we're not grinding, but it's always work finding a place to have them. So if you're a golf course, no joke, reach out to me on Twitter, reach out to Grinelli. We need about we need 2 carts for the 4 players, and we probably need 3 to 4 other carts, and we need a hole open behind us and a hole open in front of us. Now, that's why some golf courses can't handle it, but if your course is willing to do it and it's not a shithole, no offense, call us.
Hey,
email chiclets at barstoolsports.com.
I'll go to a chip and putt. I don't give a shit.
I don't know if I just don't know if that'd look great on camera. I'm not saying it wouldn't be fun. I'm more thinking about the product, but still, yeah, I'm not trying to chirp anyone there while indirectly chirping them. I just think that if you want to reach out and you'd like to have us at your course, let us know.
Love it.
All right, boys. Great show. A lot of fun.
We didn't even mention that we got the best of. So enjoy all the best of.
We did from the top, but that's all right, Biz.
Okay.
Top of the course.
I had a tough back end here to this.
That's
one.
right.
Jesus
well, hopefully
Christ.
everybody enjoyed all the best of, because there was certainly plenty of it for esteemed producer Mike Grinelli to pull from. So good job, Mikey, doing what you did there.
Best fans in the world. Thank you so much. Enjoy it and have a happy new year. On to 2021.
Happy New Year, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.